Right, we're just at the back of my house and I wanted to show you what I do in my back garden to try and be a little more self-sufficient. And this isn't something that we started overnight. We've been doing this for a few years now, ever since we've been in this property. We had the chickens at the top of the garden, but we've always grown our own veg, and we've planted fruit trees, soft fruit bushes, any little thing we can do to try and be a little bit more self-sufficient. And this is our small veg patch. We've got our onions in here, but if you can remember from the previous video, I mentioned that the chickens escaped their pen, which was at the top of the garden by that shed. They got out and they got through all my seeds. They went through all these onions, everyone had come, but they came through and absolutely demolished this back row. I'm actually quite surprised that most of them are coming back. I think there's only one that's dead from the chicken attack. We've got a row of peas in. Literally that small patch of onions, that will see us through a whole year. Cost us about £2 for the onion sets. Took about 15 minutes to plant. They take very little looking after, and that will supply us all the onions we need for the year. There's about 220 onions in that spot. But down here is where I had rows. There was 3 complete rows, one of carrot, 2 of parsnip, and where you can see the bare patches. In fact, Louise has put some irises in at the end of these carrots, but that was a full row of carrots. Yeah, the chickens came through here, absolutely decimated it, scattered the seed round. So we've got carrots that were in this row scattered over, and they're now growing next to the parsnip. It's not too bad. This morning, I've got the seed back out. I'm going to try and fill in these blank spots. We'll put another row of carrots in next to the parsnip. But over here we've got a small patch of strawberries. We've got tayberries growing up this. We've also got raspberries, 3 different types of raspberry. Some more strawberries growing in the middle. More raspberries up the back. We've got blackcurrant bush here. There's gooseberries. There's a small blueberry bush here. I don't think the soil type is exactly right for it, but you can see all the flowers. So hopefully, we've had problems in the past with the pigeons taking the berries just before they're ripe, so I need to get some sort of cover on that. And this thing here is called a honeyberry. I've not eaten a honeyberry before, but there are some growing. So hopefully later on this year we'll be able to sample a honeyberry. This is quite a good gooseberry bush. This produces the red gooseberry, and you can see there they're all starting to come on. Yeah, and from the other side, this is the strawberries again. But the frost, we've had some real heavy frosts late on in the season, and a lot of the flowers off these strawberry plants turn black in the centre, which means they won't make a strawberry. But luckily, they've pushed a load of new flowers out, so it looks like we might still get a good crop. On another small piece of ground, there was a big conifer growing here last year. We cut it down, which gave us a bit more space to grow on. But we've got 2 rows of garlic in, 3 rows of potatoes, and again, just those 3 rows of potatoes is almost enough. That'll do us probably 6 months worth of potatoes, and we're a family of 5. So you don't need a massive space to grow enough veg to supply your own family. And we've also planted an orchard up the back. These are all on dwarf rootstock, so they're not going to get any bigger really than what they are. The majority of these are apple. We've got 1 cherry here, which doesn't look very happy. Not quite sure what's wrong with this. Another apple, that's Braeburn. Got 2 Braeburn. I didn't prune them last year just to see. I don't know which are a tip fruiting variety or the variety that fruit on last year's wood. So I've decided not to cut any of them back. Try and figure it out. Some of these I've forgotten the name of because they were planted in an old allotment many years ago, and I dug them out and moved them here. But this is a plum. We've got 2 plum. This is also a plum, Victoria plum. Then we've got masses of rhubarb. Now we make a fantastic rhubarb and custard cake with our rhubarb. We'll get a video of how to put up on this channel soon. We've also got 2 pear trees, 1 here, 1 there, and again the pears are coming. This is the plum tree. The plums are coming on. And again, another massive patch of the rhubarb. When we first moved here, we had 1 patch. I split the bulb about 4 years ago. There was 1 patch just there. I split it, put a bulb there, and it's just gone absolutely wild. And we've also got another 2 apple trees over there. Basically, we've just tried to shoehorn what we've got into whatever available space we had at the time. And to show that wanting to be self-sufficient didn't happen overnight. It's something that we've strived to do for a number of years, and it's only now that we've got a bigger piece of land to play with that we can get more animals, bigger animals, like the pigs. Eventually we're going to want to have a big veg plot up the land. We'll probably have a number of greenhouses to do the more exotic vegetables, chilies, sweet peppers and tomatoes and things like that, even watermelons and melons. We've done them before in our old allotment, and they were the best tasting melons we'd ever eaten. So it's definitely something we're going to get onto. But even with this small space in our backyard, we've managed quite a lot. So what I've got to do first of all is patch in those empty rows with some carrot seeds, and I'm going to put another full row of carrots in. I'll show you how I do that. You just watch how quick I work. Right, next on the list, we're going to put some dwarf French beans in. We started some off in pots a bit too early. We grew them on in the house by the window. But then when we planted them out, that's when we got the real good frosts, and they absolutely hammered all of our French beans. You can just about see the remnants of 1 or 2 of the stalks. Now these will probably come back, so I shall leave those, but what I'll do is I'll plant in between I'll put some new seed in the ground right now. So what I've got here is a bit of a small patch next to the strawberries that there's not much I can do with it at the minute, but what I've got are my brassicas and some leeks, and I'll start them off in small rows here. This will be like a seed nursery, and when they've grown on to be about 4 or 5 inches tall, I'll transplant them into the main plot, and that's where they'll grow on. So we've got to turn this over with a fork, loosen it up, because it's not been touched for ages. It's really well compact, and to give the seeds the best start, we want a nice light soil. So we'll turn it with a fork, make it fine with a rake, and we'll put some short rows of these in. Right, so that's going to be it for me today working on the garden, although I've just been handed another pack of seeds, some purple sprouting, so that'll go down here next to the others in the seed nursery. But we'll bring you an update in a couple of weeks, show you how everything's doing. Hopefully we'll have some good veg before long. Nothing beats going out into your back garden, getting your own food and enjoying it. Thanks for watching.